Everything done, everything out your pockets. No distractions, get rid of your phone, mate. Walidafy, listen, get rid of your phone. I hope this stays in as well. Get rid of your... Thank you. All right. What a time to be on the phone.
Brazil beat Peru. Sorry.
All right, guys. Welcome to the WATTPOD. You guys may have noticed a delay. The reason being is just a quick disclaimer is because we tried recording about twice with the same topic.
And Director Saab failed us. I failed us. The laptop we use failed us. The software we use failed us.
It just failed. So we wasted quite a few hours. And on the contrast, this week we have been extra efficient because the director is very busy, but he has kindly prepared.
He's kindly prepared the studio for us to use for 5 minutes. So this will be a quick podcast for you guys.
Basically, we're going to try a new format. This is what the people want. The people don't want to hear us for an hour. They want to hear us for 30 minutes. Guys, we're going to try a new setup this week. So we wanted to actually do this last week, but of course it failed. But we're not just doing it because of time restraints. We want to keep it 30 minutes. Let us know how you guys like it. And I think that pretty much covers any disclaimers. Anything else you want to let them know about?
Subscribe to Walidafy. It's a tough time on my own YouTube channel, so sub to me as well, please.
And just follow me on Instagram, Faiq the real one. You don't actually have to, but I thought I'd just plug something in. But definitely subscribe to the podcast, the WATTPOD.
That's the main thing.
That's the key thing. So we're going to start this topic with something that we wanted to discuss last week.
But we couldn't.
Didn't really get a chance to, but the timing actually may have been all right. Now, as if you guys know, we are anime fans.
Yeah.
And there's been a recent announcement that the popular anime Dragon Ball, which some of you guys may have heard of, is now continuing on. Bearing in mind, Dragon Ball started in 1980 something?
Like 1990s, so like
it was even before that.
It was like old.
It's very old, and it's been going on since then, which is quite an achievement for an anime, I must say.
It's pretty good, actually. I mean, technically, like there's lots of longest running shows in like the West, but animes are pretty good in terms of length. Yeah,
in terms of, how they came about. But I really felt like they've really come into power probably around like the 2000s mark towards now. Like the trajectory where it's gone, where it started from to where it is now. Yeah. It's quite crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, what we wanted to talk about last time was like the effect they had on the West. So you can tell nowadays that's got a big effect. But, obviously back in the day when they first released, then they had no effect because they're so different, culturally so different. So,
well, we talked about last week as well how we are the generation that really grew up with it, because back then no one really in their childhood had this going on. Yeah, we are the result of that childhood. Whereas now it is popular, like it's part of popular culture.
Yeah, it literally is. You hear it in like songs. You see it just in general. Culture as well. Yeah, football celebrations. You see it like everywhere nowadays. So, it's had a big effect, but it's only recently. Whereas, where it first started, the difference in culture was so big that it couldn't have the same, propulsion as it has now.
Yeah. I mean, we were also looking at the stats as well and the data. And we noticed how, of course, America always is going to be culturally going for it,
Yeah, exactly.
So they grew up really quickly in terms of the impact of anime. But also, if you look at France, they actually pick up anime quite a bit. I think they're the third highest country that watch anime the most, or they're in the top 5 definitely. Yeah. And they're actually only European country that is in the top 5 as well.
Yeah, and I was saying that the main reason is because regardless of how you look at it, France even way back has been very culturally different, especially with the adaptation of French in many African countries and many people from Africa moving over. It's been a huge difference in culture there than it has been, in England or Germany during similar times. Yeah. Even Italy. Italy is like just Italians, really. You don't really think of many other cultures in Italy. So France has been very, very different in that sense. So to see it like do well is not really a surprise for France.
But I suppose you actually touched on a very interesting point of Italians. Italians have their own culture. Yeah. And if you think about it, like Japan has an iconic character that is Italian, Mario.
Oh yeah,
it's a Japanese character that's Italian.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
That's crazy, isn't it? So it seems like Italy, when it comes to Europe, have their own culture, whereas France, I think the difference is that they always become the latest trendsetters. Yeah, but they take the influence from anywhere.
Literally, that's what makes them special. That's why their fashion is so good. That's why many things that they do is so good, and quite a lot of French people are very open-minded. compared to other European countries. So it you can see it really easily. Like when you think of France, you don't just think baguettes. You just actually think of
Yeah, that's the first thing I think of France. When I watch them play football, I just think baguette. Yeah.
No, but that's what I mean. Is that like when you think of France, you can't think of something traditionally French. You think of all these different influences from different cultures. Whereas like if you think of England, you think of like fish and chips, which is traditionally British.
I think you're just very, very hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I have hay
So
fever.
too.
Everything's going on today.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting. Guys, if from his voice, he's got strong hay fever, and of course, as a little present, we've got a massive flower set on the corner as well, which isn't really helping.
It's not helping. It's like the biggest bouquet I've ever seen in my life.
Literally massive. We could show you guys, but
it's so strong. It's ridiculous.
it is pretty strong. But just getting back on track as well, actually, in terms of anime and open-mindedness. So, back then, of course, in the early 2000s, a lot of these countries started taking it up, and then we grew up as a generation. But what impact do you think anime has had on Western culture in terms of storylines, media in general?
I think it probably brought more light to the storyline of. So if you look at anime, the best anime is like Naruto, Dragon Ball. What else would you put up there? If you say the top three most iconic, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, those three, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's the ones like Yu-Gi-Oh as well, but those are more like
but they start becoming niche. So Dragon Ball is like one guy wants to get stronger and stronger and wants to be as competitive as possible.
Yeah.
That you see that in almost every film.
Basically, Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
Goku's basically Michael Jordan.
You see that character, that aspect of that character, everywhere you look. You look in MMA, you got Conor McGregor is similar. You look in basketball, Michael Jordan was that.
Yeah.
You look in football, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You look in tennis, you got Nadal and Federer going at it.
We're just gonna name every single sport and try and find someone similar to Goku.
No, but that's what I mean. Is like that character when you look at a cartoon, people think it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's an anime, so you put respect on its name. But you could look at this cartoon character and be like, oh, what is this character? But that character is like the definition of such great people, people who are so big in Western culture.
I think that's what makes anime special, actually, which for those of you who don't watch anime, this is, I think, what really makes it special, is that it's always ideologies clashing. Yeah. That's what makes it really special. Yeah. And like you said, Goku's ideology was actually quite simple, just be the best. I think that's why in the West it worked really well, because everyone could
relate to that.
Yeah.
But from the data that you showed last, I mean, we could refer to last week like they saw it, but from the data last week, you said Naruto was the most popular in the US.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then I said the reason for that is obviously because the stigma with US is that you've got a lonely person, in his teenage years in his basement with a close knit circle. Naruto is just a lonely person who talks to 1 to 2 people, and that's it. But he wants to grow and excel and talk to many different people, grow his circle and everything. And then that's probably why it blew up in America, because you have so many like-minded people who are like, I want to do that. I want to be the same.
So you see yourself.
Yeah, you see yourself in it. Yeah. One Piece is a tough one. I feel like in any culture.
Do you know what One Piece is? I think that's what makes it so special. Is that it's very political.
Yeah.
So for those guys who don't watch One Piece or anime in general, it's literally you've got the thing that makes One Piece special is you've got all these different settings.
Yeah.
So you've got the government versus different other ideologies with the pirates. Yeah. And everyone has their own idea of how to be in the world.
You've got you could say each pirate group is its own sect or its own
belief system, different countries, politics of countries as well.
Yeah.
But what makes it so special is that the main character and the main characters, the crew, they don't care about that at all. They have a very simple goal. And I think that's what makes it fascinating. You see how that character, I think, interacts with that world.
But it's quite interesting because the story of One Piece is very similar to how our history is written, or the history we know been told of. Hint for next week.
Yeah, that's something coming
Major hint. Because you got Luffy, who doesn't care about politics, what person is, what power he has, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you can say it's similar to how Gandhi fought the British, or how Martin Luther King went against the white not supremacy, sorry, that's the wrong word, but like how he helped, in America. And then you have Luffy's crew who just want to support him and see him succeed in that act. Yeah. And that's the same as, Gandhi's little crew. Well, no, his crew. That's probably the wrong word to say.
That's honestly the most... I under like Gandhi's little crew. I don't think we can look back in history and think, oh, you know what? Gandhi's real right. He had a little crew,
Gandhi's little gang,
little protest,
his little protest crew,
helped his little country.
No, but like, yeah, but like his people, or the people he trusted, they wanted to see him succeed.
Yeah,
the same way with Martin Luther King's.
They believed in the idea, and they represented the idea, so they wanted to follow that. And
so the idea of One Piece isn't like a brand new one. We've seen it throughout history. So, but it's showing a light-hearted touch to it to kids and teenagers, so they understand and be like, okay, I don't have to be the same as everyone else.
Well, I think that's what, the difference between people who have grown up watching anime, and I think everyone to an extent has watched at least something, is that it does teach you a lot about the world at a young age, because that, let's be honest, that animation attracts you, that action attracts you. But after you've been drawn in, you need something to keep you hooked.
Yeah.
And that's when these ideologies come in play. Like Naruto as well, going back to that. And the reason why it's so impactful in the Western world is because that is another idea of different ideologies actually clashing.
Yeah.
The two main characters, Naruto and Sasuke, both of them are sort of emo kids, especially Sasuke. Sasuke goes down the route of doing everything myself, revenge, blah, blah, blah. Naruto goes, let me make a change, let me do it this way.
Yeah.
So literally, you have these two ideologies.
It's the
clashing.
yin and yang.
So it's the left and right.
Yeah, literally. That's what it is.
Well, actually, I don't know who would be which.
Mate, I have no idea.
Yeah, let's not get into that. But that's it. I think that's what makes it so influential. And I think a lot of media nowadays has developed to the degree where you see more ideologies clashing. Like you don't see actual villains anymore. You see stuff like, well, they are bad guys, but they have an idea. They have an ideology that they want to implement.
They're not bad for what they think. It's the way they execute it, which makes them look bad.
Yeah.
So like Thanos.
Yeah.
His ideology was, all right, there's too much population. There's not enough resources. The universe is finite. Let's get rid of some people.
Yeah.
Right? That's let's get rid of some people, obviously that. But he's like, we need to reduce the numbers so everyone can thrive and no one starves and no one, their planets don't get destroyed or whatever or taken over. But the way he went about it is not the best way, because he went and looked like a villain.
Well, that's the interesting part, because he would say that with the way he went about it was the best way. Because remember, the reason why they did the snap is because it was fair, because it randomly took out half the people. Yeah. So for him, it was like, you know what? I have to be the bad guy. I have to take the sacrifice. I have to sacrifice my daughter.
Exactly.
But I'm doing it for the good of the universe, right?
Yeah.
And so in a way, it's hard to argue that. Like, I'm not saying it's right. It's not. But it's hard to tell him that he's wrong, because he believes that's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's the same way you even look at like Sasuke in the whole Shippuden series, or even normal Naruto series. Is that he just wanted revenge for what the village did to his brother, or he just wanted revenge for his clan. Yeah. He wanted to avenge his clan. And then, he went through it and then developed and still wanted to take revenge even till the last episode.
Yeah, he wanted to take revenge almost at himself at one point.
It's like, do you know what? His ideas made sense. And then like halfway through Shippuden, it was just like, mate, now you're just being annoying.
We mentioned like the typical like American version of that teenage introverted. That is Sasuke to a T. Like if you gave that introverted like crazy godlike powers, that is who he would become. That's who he would become. And I love the way Naruto just goes, yo, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, come back, just chill. And he goes, all right. That's basically what happens in Naruto.
For like 700 episodes, he's screwing Sasuke. Finally, Sasuke's like lost a limb, lying next to him on a river, and then Naruto's just like, you're my friend. He's like, I'm gonna have a change of heart.
You know what? I think we could learn something from this. You know the way to stop Osama bin Laden back in the day before he passed away. You know what Obama should have done? Obama should have gone up to me like, "Yo, listen, Osama, just chill. I'm your friend. We are your friends." Apparently, it would have worked.
I don't know if that can stay in.
I don't think it's that bad. Yeah. So just going back on the impact of what it has done, I think we see it in every single culture as well. Like nowadays, TV shows, they don't even have bad guys either. You literally have the main character and how he interacts with the world. Yeah. And I think a lot of that actually came from anime. We just mentioned how the main character in One Piece just interacts with the world. That's literally his thing. That's what we are fascinated by.
I think the biggest thing was that anime, in each episode or in each series, there were so many life lessons taught for kids and teenagers. And that's adopted a lot in modern day Western TV series. You could argue, like Friends was there at the same time as anime when it
Yeah.
started and stuff. But current, TV shows, it's a lot about like, here's how we interact, here's how we're clashing, here's the lesson, here's why we should, resolve our issues this way and that way, not the other way. So you could take
Yeah.
influence from like Drake and Josh, two stepbrothers who hated each other, how they battled each other, and at the end, how they became best brothers, like actual blood brothers.
Yeah. Well, I think that just started that wave, right? People started, and I think what I liked about TV shows as well, how it impacted, is that they never really had a conclusive answer for the deep topics.
Yeah.
They sort of went, here's the issue, here's a certain thought, here's one idea, here's one idea.
Yeah.
How you move on is totally up to you, and I
Yeah.
think that's probably the most beneficial. But I tell you what, if you really think about it now, if you wanted to influence the youth in a certain way, it could also be the most dangerous thing. Like if you literally went on a TV show and you
Yeah.
wanted something, nothing extreme, but it could be something like, I don't know, chocolate is good for you or sugar is good for you. You could somehow implement that in a TV show. And
I think that's been
people are
implemented
thinking,
before, though. Like, just
Sugar
kids eat,
industry.
like, main characters eat lots of. Isn't Lazy Town all about having chewing gum and then some guy turns crazy? Like, good.
chewing gum.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
watch Lazy Town. No, stop it.
didn't watch
No, because one guy wants the town to be lazy and wants them to eat cake or whatever. Then you
Oh,
have
then one guy wants it
Sporticus.
to be. Oh, the sports guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he comes in like in a massive.
Yeah.
What's the thing called? That craft thing.
I don't know what it's.
What it's called, but yeah, just goes in the town and he makes everyone do sports.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like Popeye. Sorry.
Popeye,
Spinach.
spinach. Yep.
And then loads of kids eat spinach.
Well, having said that, if I saw how I would become if I ate spinach and I would
Yeah.
look like Popeye, I don't think I would want to eat spinach.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
he's not really a guy you really want to grow up looking like. Like, really think about it.
Just big ass arms.
Yeah, but it's all arms. Like it's bigger than his whole body.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
true.
he's. I've been have a cigar all the time as well.
I don't actually. I've never watched a Popeye episode in my life.
It's very vague, but yeah, it's really.
I just
big
know it for
forearms.
spinach.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, I don't know. I never really looked. I mean, in contrast, you got guys like Goku who just ate loads and loads of food, but he
Yeah.
also, in contrast, trained a lot as well.
But that's like Luffy. He just eats food, but because he's made of rubber, you can like just sort of
Yeah, with him,
consume
it doesn't really make sense. But I suppose they always show the bad parts of that as well, right? They show the trait of the character. They show the bad
Yeah.
impacts and take what you will.
Yeah.
Whereas some other shows may show just one thing and be like, yeah, this is probably the right way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think about TV shows in general, like becoming slightly political? Because in one way, it is an art, and the creator has a right to,
Yeah.
communicate what they want. But on the other hand, do you think that maybe a TV show should be a TV show and shouldn't be political?
No, I think it'd be political, man. Like House of Cards wouldn't have been good if it wasn't political.
But House of Cards isn't trying to really implement something. It's about politics. Do you know where I'm
Yeah.
coming from? Like,
So you mean if a TV show tried implementing like a Republican view, is that a good idea?
Not like the whole show is about that, but maybe it's an episode could show you one side
Yeah.
and just show the benefits of that, and show the other side and just show it that in a bad light.
Yeah.
That could be a political episode.
Yeah.
That could be deemed maybe dangerous for youth.
I don't know. I don't think it matters. Our news is just full of that anyway.
It is, to be
That's
fair.
the thing is it's not like
Not as bad as America, though.
yeah, that's true, but it's not like the thing with that is it's not that big of a deal because lots of people are open to it and they understand that these things are happening. Whereas before, no one knew about it, so you can't even have the opinion of, oh look, they're pushing a political narrative because no one knew about political narratives and manipulation. Whereas now we know about it, so we know no one can do it.
Okay.
So like you could do it, but
But no
everyone will
one-
figure it out and be like,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. You could have done it in the past when no one knew about it and it would have an effect, but no one knew the effect because no one knew manipulation.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought, actually, yeah. So no one really realised what was going on. They just thought it's a TV show.
Yeah.
Whereas now everyone sort of knows.
They're like, oh, it's a TV show, it's fake. And now it's like they try political manipulation. And you're like,
Well, that's an interesting point, because that is probably a right statement. It's not real. So
Yeah.
why would you be offended by it?
exactly.
But I suppose the power of media is still like.
The thing is,
prevalent.
back then, I know we're going so off topic, but back
No, it's
then,
fine.
you wouldn't say people were as woke as they were now. So even if something was politically incorrect, it wouldn't get it wouldn't get called out.
Yeah.
Whereas now people are like, you need to be politically correct, you need to be PG, you need to be this, you need to be that, you need to be that. they're like, oh, you have to be all this, but you can't be yourself, right? So like, you can't be yourself, but you have to be what everyone else says.
That sounds like a political statement. I'm joking. It's not. It's literally the opposite.
It's just a social narrative.
It's literally the opposite. You're saying the opposite part.
Yeah,
you
literally.
don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I suppose.
But that's why I like
Yeah.
anime. There was never like a political view or political narrative. It was just a bunch of kids or a bunch of teenagers trying to be the best at what they wanted to be the best at.
Well, I suppose what made anime good as well is the fact that those who had a crazy point of view, they usually had their mind swayed by the main character who had no points of view.
Yeah, exactly.
And they sort of looked like idiots at some point
There was
as well.
no main character that had a political narrative.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's no one really.
There's not,
Even Naruto, who technically became a politician while becoming the
yeah,
Hokage.
he became Hokage, but he never had a political narrative.
In fact, he just wanted to become it
He
so he
just-
could be acknowledged.
Yeah,
That's it.
he just wanted to be acknowledged. How do I get acknowledged? Hokage.
I mean,
That's it.
yeah, that's true, actually, if you think about it. And it's quite interesting, especially when you see guys like... Actually, I want to discuss actually with One Punch Man, because One Punch Man is a direct narrative of Western heroes.
Yeah.
And I suppose that is the most... what we just talked about, a character does not care about politics.
Yeah.
That is literally One Punch Man, because he's
Yeah.
a parody character.
That's true.
So
yeah.
for those guys who haven't watched it, literally this is One Punch Man. You've got one guy who's a villain, who's a typical comic book Western villain.
Yeah.
You've got the hero, who's a typical Western hero.
Yeah.
Tries to fight him, tries as hard as you have the whole sob stories, blah, blah, blah. And then it looks like he's going to die. And then randomly, here comes the main character, One Punch Man.
Yeah,
He looks like a normal guy and he just
bald guy. Yeah, just punches.
punches him and dead. And that's
That's it. The thing with him is that there's this whole like hero ranking system and blah blah blah, and he's just like, don't care. I just want to live my life and carry on.
He's literally the he's the parody of that whole world. That whole world is very political. Like
Yeah.
it is actually very political.
Yeah.
But he's the person who comes in.
It's all about status, where you are, where you're
Yeah.
not are, how much acknowledgement you get and stuff. And he's just like, mate, I just want to play my games in my room. I just want to have a walk when I want to have a walk.
And you know, the creator said that he literally, that's all he wanted to do. He said
Yeah.
he didn't really care much about the story. He said he wanted to create one character who basically just makes a mockery of Western
everything.
ideas.
Yeah.
Of Western hero ideas. Because anime isn't really like that. Anime, you got politics, but again, you mentioned like the main characters always go against it.
Yeah.
He wanted to take that to the extreme.
Yeah, he definitely did take it. Like anyone could watch One Punch Man and enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
It makes such like funny jokes, like high moments out of such serious political.
Do you
or,
think?
like,
Do you think
things.
apart from a comedy? Oh, actually, no. I suppose One Punch Man is a comedy. But do you think that could work here though? You could have one guy just interacts with the worst kinds of things and just goes, I don't really care. Because I feel like comedians, a lot of them now try to do that, but I think they can sometimes come across political on the other side. So it's a really difficult. I think the only way you can really portray that is by actually having a form of media, because then you can make the story a certain way. You can have a character who stands out the story.
So all right, just so I can understand what you meant. So you're saying, can there be a show where there's a political narrative, but the main character never goes for that political
Yeah,
narrative?
just complete outside of it. Almost like that main character is not even part of the same show. Like it's almost a parody of that entire
And would it
show.
work in the West?
Yeah, would it work in like a Marvel movie, let's say?
Yeah,
Do you reckon?
I think it would work.
I mean, the closest thing you have is Deadpool, but Deadpool, technically his universe is like that. They're all parodies. You'd actually have to create a world where it's very serious, the stakes are very high, and you've got that one character who just does what he wants. 'Cause I genuinely believe these kinds of concepts
trying to
work in
think.
Japan.
I'm trying to think of any Western TV show that's similar to that, where one guy just doesn't care,
But the rest of the characters do.
but everyone else does.
Yeah, it's actually. I don't think there is. I mean, if there is, let us know. Actually,
There probably is, and there's probably like a big one we don't know.
yeah, probably missing something big. But you know what? I think there is at least this part. We can easily think of that in Japan. in
Yeah,
Japanese
but you
anime,
can't think about
But
it.
you got to really think about it in the West, and I think that goes to show
The thing is,
their narratives. You know.
the thing when you said that, the only person that came to our mind as an actor was Jim Carrey.
Yeah, but
But the thing is,
his world
there's,
is
there's
like
no
that.
there's no like movie or specific show where he does it a lot, but it's just his character and the way he's portrayed on TV
Yeah,
and on
And
movies
his acting skills.
and his
that's what he
acting
does.
skills is what makes me think of that. That like
Yeah.
if there was a TV show or a movie where one guy had to go against everyone else, it'd be Jim Carrey.
It would be Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But even in his movies, the world is like that as well.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the actual setup is like that. I feel like these concepts where you have the world just serious and you've got the character who's not. I feel like it works really well in Japan. And I suppose I don't really know why. I think that's what their identity is, and I suppose we get influenced by that, but we can never really fully adapt that and accept that concept.
That's true. I mean, we are getting close to the end of our episode. So, top 5 animes.
Oh man, I was okay. So
I've asked you 3 times now. So
yeah, it's been a week though.
easy.
Maybe change mine. All right. So no particular order. I'll try and order it actually. So Dragon Ball Z because it's my childhood. It's most iconic for me.
Yeah.
Death Note because story-wise, I just loved it. Naruto Shippuden because teenage years when I didn't go for an emo phase, but if I did, that's where I got my influence from. One Piece because One Piece is just impossible to ignore.
Yeah.
And then 5th was Attack on Titan because it's my favorite one that I watched recently.
Okay, so mine are. I probably will mess up this order. Number 1, Naruto.
Okay.
Number 2, One Piece, because I actually spent the whole time catching up, and I finally caught up. So
Okay. Yeah.
I actually love the whole anime. I just need to watch the Wano arc, and I can't be bothered. The third one, I'd say Haikyuu, because it was the first anime that no one told me about, and I found myself, and I really enjoyed.
Oh, I love those.
Number 4, I'd say Boku no Hero, because Midoriya is just a legend of a character. I really like his character and the way he's been designed. Number 5, I'd say Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 official and unofficial Season 2.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Again, we've talked a lot about animes, but this episode in particular. But just to let you guys know, actually, for those who aren't fans of anime, we're going to have a different concept next week, right?
Yeah, we're going to conspire about our topic next week.
Oh, okay. That's a little
hint.
There you go. But yeah, Walidafy, is there anything else that you would like to tell the wonderful WATTPOD audience?
Like, subscribe, comment any topics you want us to do. I think I quite enjoyed the 30-minute podcast, so I think we'll probably carry on with this format. So let us know any topics you want us to cover. We won't be political, we'll be very unbiased, and subscribe to this channel, my channel. Check out Faiq on his Instagram as well.
Yeah, and guys, we hope to see you next week. Peace out. What gang for life? Low gang, Jake Paulers, KSI. I don't know. I'm just meant to get the hashtags in there. Just get them in there.
Get the hashtag. Peace out.